Oh gosh, that sounds like a lot of work.
Do you ever wish sometimes that you were in a monogamous relationship because of
No.
all the, no, never?
No, I always did want a plural relationship.
You know, I actually like this.
I've never been a monogamist.
Every polygamist man has thought to himself how wonderful it might be, the grass is greener, how wonderful it might be to be a monogamist. Everybody's like, oh, Cody wants to be a monogamist now. And my brother's like, because he's a polygamist, he says to me, I have never thought that in my life. And I'm like, and he's a really honest guy, but he's also, like Dudley Do-Right. He's a really good guy. So I'm like, no way. I just like, it was,
Yeah.
You've never thought how cool it might be to be a monogamist, And so, but he really is that kind of guy that's sort of very, very devout to his choices and his religion, his faith.
Yeah.
So I'm the guy that sits here and watches myself on TV and questions everything I've done in my life.
When Cody and I got married, almost 31 years ago now, this was definitely a topic of conversation between us. This was the church that we were both in at the time. And, we discussed it, and so we knew that this is what we were going to do, and we were totally all for it. I grew up in the faith. Like I said, I chose this when I was a young adult. Even though I was raised in it, I chose it. I had dated. I dated a lot, and I had other people interested in me and dating me, and I actually had marriage proposals, and I basically just said to them, I want to live plural marriage. So unless you're gonna, explore that and explore my religion and stuff like that, then I'm not really interested in that.
Sometimes if Cody's here for too many days, I'm kind of like, oh my word, you're a lot of work. Like I've just over the decades that we've been married, I've just kind of gotten used to having my independence, my autonomy. And bless his heart, like he's just a guy. I mean, he's just like, I don't know, but I really like it. I really like it. It was such a beneficial thing when my kids were little and I worked, and I had, we just worked together as a family. I think it benefited the kids having a village that raised them essentially. And it worked for me and my personality.
Oh gosh, that seems like a lot of work. A lot of work.
Really?
Yes, especially like during COVID, where we've had more freedom. That's a terrible way to put it. I don't know. I've never been a monogamist. Never. I've never. Never. So I mean, it's so out there and beyond my understanding to have a guy around every night. I feel like it would cramp my style a lot. Because I've never had that. As soon as Cody and I married, that was the third wife, and so I really like the independence that I have, and I love the freedom that I have, and I love that I can just have those evenings where I'm wearing the grossest, most comfortable clothes ever, and I'm just curled up on the couch with the girls eating popcorn and playing games or something.
Yeah.
That's such a. I feel bad whenever I say things like that, really bad. But
Do your kids want to explore a polygamous relationship as well? Have they expressed that to you at all?
None of my children have really said, I don't think so. Do you know what I mean? Maddie, my daughter, she's my oldest daughter. She says, I love my family and I love how I grew up and I wouldn't change it, but they're not interested at all in polygamy.
I don't believe I have ever wished that I never had done this. I have wished that I had handled things better. I have wished that I, maybe had a more compassionate heart, and you know what I mean, and was more open to relationships as they came along instead of, the struggle, because unfortunately the struggle is real. You know what I mean? But to me, it's about kind of overcoming those struggles and figuring us out.
It is something that I've always chosen. I have, every single day. When I was married before, I was still in the religion, and we had talked about, other wives and stuff like that at that point. So no, it's not something that I've ever wanted. It's not something I would ever choose, and as far as I'm concerned, this is what I want for the rest of my life, and So yeah.
I have so much freedom. If I'm like, oh my gosh, girls, we've got to go to Sedona for the day, we just go to Sedona for the day. We stay in our car right now, mind you, but we go on these beautiful drives and we have adventures. And oh my gosh, there would always be someone else I'd have to talk to about it. You know, the hard part about the whole thing is that I do have to do repairs myself. Like if the fridge breaks down, I have to call the appliance guy. Or if something happens because it's a water haul area, and so I have to have a guy bring water. So when I run out of water, I have to make the call. So I have to do things like that. Like if I need a mechanic or someone, an electrician or things like that, then I have to do that part. And I don't like to do that part really. But I think after a while, you just get used to it.